Many years ago, in the beautiful village of Mbise, there lived two beautiful sisters named Adora and Adamma. They were both twin sisters but behaved like enemies. They fought and quarreled with one another every single time. Their mother always had to settle them, screaming and shout, Adamma, Adora, when will all this nonsense stop? You're not just blood sisters, oh. You're twins. So why are you both behaving like David and Goliath? Eh? Hey, Ochimo. Ochimo, why did you give me this kind of twins? You should have just given me just one child. What is all this now? Mama Ejima, Adora and Adama's mother, would say while crying. And things continued like this between Adora and Adama. They quarreled and fought over every single thing. A few months later, it was already Christmas. It was the festive season, and the whole village of Mbise was very happy. The excitement in the air was palpable. One could literally touch it. People were excited for several reasons. For some, they were excited that their children and loved ones, cousins, uncles, and aunties, who they had not seen in a long while, would be coming back to the village. And of course, they would never come back empty-handed. They would come back with a lot of goodies. But for most of the young ladies, their excitement was for a different reason. They were excited at the prospect of catching a fine, tall, handsome young man from the city to marry them, or even from Obodo Oyibo, the abroad, regardless of which of the abroad, whether from Libya or from Malaysia, or Gabon, or Ghana, or Cameroon. As far as it was abroad, they were fine with it. So all the young ladies ensured that they made beautiful hairstyles and bought new clothes to enhance and accentuate their curves. And Adama and Adora were not left behind. The twins looked very beautiful. They had even piped low on speaking Igbo language and had started practicing speaking quaint English so they could capture a fine city man or a fine abroad man. Anytime the twins were not quarreling and were in good terms, you would see them practicing their steps. They would walk in their compound as though they were walking on a runway and would both laugh heartily. They would also try to change their intonation so they could sound foreign. Hey, Adora, so what are we having for morning food? Adama would say, trying to sound English. Adora would burst out into laughter and say, Mechionu de, Oluku. Owuru, what are we having for morning food? It is not what are we having for morning. It is, hey, what are we having for breakfast? Adora would say, and they would all burst out into laughter. A few days later, it was already the 22nd of December, and many beautiful cars had already started trooping into the village. The ladies in the village were super excited. Each time a vehicle passed and ladies were clustered around, one would scream and say, Ha, is that not Amy One of Malaysia? Ewo, the mama is back, oh, my husband is back. A lady would scream out, smiling happily. And another would quickly interject and say, Ta, who is your husband? Mbao, Amy Malaysia. Is my own husband. Go and look for somebody else to marry. And they will all burst out into laughter. By the 24th of December, the village was full and bustling. All the young men of the city were around. Even the abroad men were around. Amy One of Malaysia was around. Edu Brazil of USA. Emeka of Indonesia. OC London was around. Ifeanyi of Alabama and all the other guys from the big cities of Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt had all landed in Mbise. All the ladies were super excited. Everyone wore their best, even when they were going out for a simple errand like fetching water. One day, Mama Ejima, Adama and Adora's mother, had sent Adora to go and buy some drinks from a neighboring shop. As Adora walked, winding her waist and putting into action all the catwalking practice that she had had in the last 2 months. Amy One of Malaysia rolled up behind her in a beautiful flashy car. Hi beautiful, you look gorgeous. What's your name? Emeka asked, smiling. Adora at this point was blushing and replied Emeka Amy One of Malaysia, saying, Good morning, my name is Adora. Adora replied, smiling sheepishly. And so, Adora and Emeka began gisting and smiling. So in the days that followed, Emeka began to visit Adora at her home, and he never came empty-handed to see her. Adamma, her twin sister, had been observing her sister's new relationship with Emeka, and this made her very jealous, because none of the young men who had come back to the village for Christmas had looked her way yet. One day, Adora had gone to visit Emeka, and upon getting to his house, when they were seated alone, Emeka tried to touch her and sleep with her. Adora quickly jerked away and said, No now, please, Emeka, Amy One of Malaysia. Please stop, I cannot do this. I cannot sleep with any man except my husband. And that is after we get married, by the way. Adora replied sadly. What is this now, Are you a child? So all the gifts, all the clothes, the hair that I've been bringing for you, do you think that it is for free, Emeka asked, looking shocked. Amy, I thought it's because you love me now. Besides, if you want me to sleep with you, it's easy. Come and see my parents and marry me properly. Adora replied, sulking, and then left for her home. A few days later, and Emeka had not even called her to speak to her. Adora waited by her phone all day, waiting patiently for it to ring. She was very sad. How can Emeka just desert me like that? No calls, no texts, nothing, just because I refuse to sleep with him. It's been 3 whole days now, Adora said aloud to herself while crying. Adamma, on the other hand, had observed that her sister was always sad and that Emeka no longer came into their house to see her sister Adora. Instead, he would drive past their house. Adamma sensed that there was trouble in Adora's paradise. So she decided that this was the best time to shoot her shot. After all, no city man was looking her way or coming for her. So one day, Adamma went to go and see Emeka without Adora's knowledge. Emeka was very surprised to see Adamma in his house. Adamma, what are you doing here? And did you come alone? Where is Adora, your sister? Emeka asked, looking shocked. Haba, won't you welcome me properly first and then ask me how I am doing, rather than, start bombarding me with questions about my sister as though me, I'm an unwanted guest? Adamma replied, Oh, I'm so sorry, Adamma. I was just surprised to see you. You have never come to my house before. Emeka replied, It's okay, I understand. Anyway, I just came to talk and see if there is anything that I could do for you. Adamma replied, smiling. And so they began to gist. So Adamma looked at Emeka and said, So what is going on between you and my sister Adora? I noticed that you no longer visit our home, and I see my sister Adora, always looking sad and always in tears. But most importantly, the question would be, are you blind? Why would you see me and then go for my twin sister? Why would you leave me with all my beauty and then go after my sister? Adamma replied, sulking. And Emeka replied and said, You are asking too many questions at the same time, but I would answer only the most important one, like you rightly said. I was a fool to have gone for your sister instead of you, because you're way more beautiful than your sister. Emeka replied as he leaned over to kiss Adamma. And Adamma did not even resist his attempt at all, and they ended up making out. Adamma was so happy. And when she was about to go, Emeka handed over a huge sum of cash and some gifts to Adamma. Adamma went back home looking very excited. She met her twin sister Adora seated inside the compound. Immediately Adora saw her, she sprung up and said, Adamma, where are you coming from? And don't you even dare lie to me, because I can perceive the perfume on you, and that is not your perfume. That smells exactly like my man, Amy One of Malaysia. Adora said, screaming and looking very angry. Well, 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 you're right and wrong at the same time. You're right, yes, I'm coming from Amy One of Malaysia's house. But you're wrong in the sense that Amy One of Malaysia is not your man. At least he's no longer your man. He's now my man. Adamma replied sneeringly, and immediately Adora pounced on Adamma, and they fought and fought until their mother was able to separate them. And so the following day, Adora dressed up nicely and went to Emeka's house. Upon getting to Emeka's house, she went on her knees to apologize to Emeka for turning him down and told him that she was ready to do whatever he wanted. And so, they ended up making out. And when she was leaving, Emeka also gave her lots of gifts and money as well. Adora was very happy that at least now she had her man back, or so she thought. When Adamma learned that Adora and Emeka had reconciled, she got very upset and fought with her sister Adora. And so in the days that followed, Adamma and Adora began to compete for Emeka's love. They would all dress up and go to Emeka's house and offer their bodies to him, just like that. Emeka was busy enjoying himself. He was having the best of both worlds. While the twin sisters were always fighting and were at loggerheads just because of Emeka, Amy One of Malaysia. All the young men in the village were not so happy because they could see all the young beautiful ladies, some of whom were their girlfriends and others who they crushed on, following and hanging out with the rich city boys and the rich abroad boys who had returned to the village for Christmas. A few days later, and the festive season was already winding up, and some ladies were very desperate. Those that had caught the big city and abroad men were desperate to get a commitment from them. Most of these ladies had slept with their city and abroad boyfriends just so these men would marry them. And Adora and Adamma were not left out. Adora and Adamma had both spoken to Amy privately, trying to get a marriage commitment out of him. And Emeka had both promised them individually that he was going to marry them and even take them abroad with him. And he even went as far as giving them engagement rings, but had told each of them privately not to put it on yet and to also keep it as a secret until he told them when they could announce it. So Adora was secretly engaged to Amy One of Malaysia, not knowing that her own twin sister Adamma was also secretly engaged to the same man Emeka. They were both living in delusion. On the 2nd of January, Adora had gone to Emeka's house to visit Emeka, but to her greatest shock, Emeka was not around though. She was informed that Emeka had traveled back to Lagos and had left around 5 a.m. because he had to catch a flight back to Malaysia by the 4th of January. Adora could not believe her ears. She ran back screaming and crying, Amy, oh, Amy, Ebola, mo, Amy has killed me. How can you leave me? But you told me that you love me and you will marry me and take me to Malaysia with you. Yet see how you have abandoned me. You have left me and traveled, Adora said, crying as she walked back home. As soon as she got back to their house, she narrated everything that had happened to Adamma. Adamma cried and wailed loudly. In short, Adora and Adamma were crying and wailing. They did not even have the strength to fight one another. They both shared a common pain and loss. Amy had deceived them and shattered not only their hearts, but their dreams of leaving the village and traveling to the abroad. So a few weeks later, and all the abroad men and city men had gone back to their base. Most of the village ladies like Adamma and Adora, who had been deceived by these men and had let their guards down, all because they had been promised marriage, had found a way to come out of their heartbreaks and move on with their lives. However, one day, Adora was speaking to her mom and her sister when she suddenly felt the urge to vomit, so she ran out to vomit. Adamma also followed quickly behind her. She too wanted to vomit. Mama Ejima was shocked to see both of her daughters vomiting. She looked very afraid and then said, "What in the world is going on here? Can you guys start talking already before I lose my mind?" Mama Ejima said, screaming out loud, Mama, I don't think it's anything serious. So I've just been having slight fevers and I've been feeling a little bit drowsy as well." Adora replied her mom, "Yes, me too, Mama. That's exactly the same symptoms that I've been having. I feel like it will pass, maybe because we spent some time going to the farm this period." Adama re-echoed after her sister Adora. Ha! Fever, vomiting, drowsiness. Hey, these children have killed me. I hope you both are not pregnant though. Your father will kill me. Your father will kill me. Mama Ejima said, weeping profusely. Pregnant care. We cannot be pregnant now, Mama. There must be a mix-up somewhere. It could be malaria or just stress. Adama and Adora both echoed, looking very alarmed. Come on, shut up there. Are you talking to a child or a fool? Oh yeah, you both, come with me now. You're both doing a pregnancy test right now. Mama Ejima said, looking very angry. And Adama and Adora both followed their mother while looking very afraid. And they both ran a pregnancy test. And indeed, they were both pregnant. Adora, Adama, and their mother all broke down in tears. And after several hours of crying and questioning them, Adora and Adama both confessed they were pregnant for the same man, Amy One of Malaysia. They tried to call the number that he had given them, but it was not connecting. So their mother took them to his family compound to report to his family members that Emeka had impregnated her twin daughters. But on getting to his compound, they were shocked to see almost 7 other beautiful pregnant ladies there. Emeka had also impregnated other ladies, and more were still coming. All the ladies looked at themselves in frustration. They had been deceived by Emeka. He had promised all of them marriage and had given all of them rings. All the ladies wailed and wept. They realized that they had been fools. In Mbise that year, there were over 60 pregnant ladies who had been impregnated during Christmas and had also been deserted by their city and abroad lovers. Most of these men who had caused this havoc in the village had gone back to their base and forgotten that anything had even happened in the village. Emeka in particular had been receiving loads of calls from his folks at the village, from his friends, who were informing him that girls of different sizes and shapes had been trooping into his house to say that he had impregnated them. And Amy would simply respond and say, "Leave those fools, Jare." The funny thing is that I didn't even spend up to $3,000 on all these girls combined though. I just went and chartered lots of gifts and dresses from Temu at a very cheap price, very low cost. And also now that the Naira has crashed against the dollar, I just converted just small dollars and plenty money full everywhere. I beg, they should have been smart enough to prevent pregnancy. They should have taken some of the money that I gave them and bought drugs. So it's not my fault that they are pregnant. So I beg, nobody should disturb me again. Thank God I'm not even coming back until at least 7 years later. And I'm sure that by the time I come back, there will even be fresher, younger, and more succulent young ladies. I beg, those girls should free me, Jare, just because of small Temu gifts. Just small gifts I bought from Temu. They are all spreading their legs. They should bear the consequence of their action, because Emeka replied, smiling, with no atom of remorse. And so, all the young ladies who had fallen prey to the city and abroad boys, to the city and abroad big boys, the big men during Christmas, were very ashamed of themselves and wished they could turn back the hands of time. Adama and Adora inclusive, they regretted their actions. The moral lesson of this story is that we should not throw away our good manners and throw caution to the wind just because it is festive season. Remember, there is life after Christmas, and there will be more festive seasons to celebrate. So, hi, besties. It's your favorite storyteller, Omalicha, again. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. So, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. So, what do you think of Emeka Emiwan of Malaysia? Do you think he'll really go scot-free after impregnating more than 10 beautiful young ladies in the village? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section, and please support your homegirl Omalicha by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing with your loved ones. So now, till I come your way again with more interesting stories, bye.